me. I'm your host, Arif Takhari. Really glad that you can be here. And of course, the big story here is we are ready for the final draw of the 2022 World Cup. Of course, it's really great to have you all here. I'm very excited for this. There's a couple different feelings, right? There's a feeling of, whether it's excitement, maybe a little bit of nervousness, different kinds of things. I totally get that. Let me just make a couple of adjustments. So yes, hope you're all well. Really appreciate you joining us for this. Like I said, I'll be going over this entire draw, let you know which countries are in what group. It should be entertaining. Let's take a look at just the different pots first. Obviously, the teams in pot number 1, the host Qatar, and we also have Brazil, Belgium, France, Argentina, England, Spain, and Portugal. So, two of those teams that Iran was grouped with at the 2018 World Cup, Spain and Portugal, they are both in pot number 1. So there's a guarantee that Iran will not be in the same group with both of those teams. As for pot number 2, those teams, of course, are Mexico, Netherlands, Denmark, Germany, Uruguay, Switzerland, United States, and Croatia. Of course, involving those teams, let's not forget that Iran was grouped with the United States at the 1998 World Cup and also with Mexico at the 2006 World Cup. Of course, the game against the United States, that was a 2-1 win at the 1998 World Cup. Against Mexico, though, a 3-1 loss at the 2006 World Cup when it was held in Germany. And as for the teams that are in pot 3, Senegal and Iran, of course, Japan, Morocco, Serbia, Poland, South Korea, and Tunisia. And as for pot number 4, we've got Cameroon, Canada, Ecuador, Saudi Arabia, Ghana, and then we have those 3 mystery teams right now. One of them, of course, be the winner of the playoff between the Asian Football Confederation and CONMEBOL, the South American Federation. So that means, I'm just going to go ahead and say it, it's probably going to be, whether it's going to be Australia or Peru, I'm going to say it's going to be Peru. And plus, I know Australia hasn't played the United Arab Emirates yet, but it should be Australia. Then CONCACAF versus OFC, Costa Rica against New Zealand, it's going to be Costa Rica. And as for the UEFA Path A winners, that means it's going to be Wales, Scotland, or Ukraine. So, tough to say. And thanks everyone for joining me. Where am I watching the draw? I am watching this in the comfort of Team LA Talk headquarters. So hope you're all enjoying yourselves too. Just waiting for this draw to get started. I do have it right here in front of me on the tablet. Just waiting for them to get the show on the road. And of course, I appreciate you all being here. It's great to see you. Great to see you all here. Always excitement with the World Cup draw. So of course, let's see. Let me see what I see here. Hopefully, Ali Dai can bring us a good group. Yes, I hope so. Definitely hope for that. Let's see the website. If you are in the United States, you can watch this on FS1, meaning Fox Sports 1, or you could also watch it on the Fox Sports app. So that's pretty much what I could share there. But if you're unable to find a place to watch the live draw, remember, you could always stay here at our Team Ellie Talk YouTube channel, and I'll be sharing all the results for you of the draw. The draw is going to be starting in just a few minutes. So right now it looks as if there's some kind of intro video for the draw. I don't know, it's kind of weird. I don't know why they can't just get on with it. Let me just refresh, make sure that this is all working with no problems. Yeah, I'm seeing some kind of... I have this on live right now, but either way, we'll get to that shortly. And while we're waiting, of course, I can go ahead and talk about some other results about Iran's results in the past World Cup and previous World Cups. Iran's first appearance at the World Cup was in 1978 in Argentina. In that group, Iran was grouped with the Netherlands, Peru, and Scotland. It was not... Yes, I agree. Let's go Iran. Iran chikaresh mikone. So I need to hear that response from all you who have joined us. At the 1978 World Cup in Argentina, Iran lost to Netherlands and Peru, but scored a 1-1 draw with Scotland. The only goal for Iran was scored by Iraj Daniafard. At the 1998 World Cup, 20 years later, Iran was grouped with Germany, Yugoslavia, and the United States. Iran started off with a heartbreaking 1-0 loss to Yugoslavia. Then, of course, the amazing 2-1 victory over the United States. Those goals were scored by Hamid Estili and Mehdi Matavikia. And the last game, a respectable 2-0 loss to Germany. Iran played hard, that's for sure. Now let's fast forward 8 years later, the 2006 World Cup in Germany. Yes, I am wearing my Andranik Teimourian shirt. And it was at the 2006 World Cup. Iran was grouped with Portugal, Mexico, and Angola. This was not really the best tournament for us to remember as well. Started off with a 3-1 loss to Mexico. The goal for Iran was scored by Yahya Gol Mohammadi. Then, of course, a disappointing 2-0 loss to Portugal. And then finished it off with I would even say, a disappointing 1-1 draw with Angola. On that day, Iran was easily the better team, but just was unable to score in the first half. The only goal that game for Iran was scored by Sohrab Bakhtiarizadeh, a header off corner kick. Then 2014 in Brazil, Iran was grouped with Argentina, Nigeria, and Bosnia-Herzegovina. The first game, a scoreless draw with Nigeria. Remember, that was disappointing, definitely. Then the really heartbreaking 1-0 loss to Argentina. Came so close to holding out for a 0-0 draw. Not just that, even had chances to score against Argentina. And thank you, Sasha. Really appreciate the support. Thank you for being here. And the way that tournament ended 2014, another disappointing result. That time a 3-1 loss to Bosnia-Herzegovina. The only goal for Iran scored at the 2014 World Cup was scored by Reza Ghoochannejhad. And yes, that was a very, very disappointing tournament because, after playing so hard against Argentina, it's like I believe Team Melli fans were thinking that a win was coming against Bosnia-Herzegovina. Because we all assumed, hey, we just barely lost to Argentina, so we should beat Bosnia no problem. And that did not happen. And 2018 World Cup, we cannot forget. Let's see what someone said this from here. Yes, I agree. Mehdi Taremi and Sardar Azmoun are just awesome together. They are the dynamic duo. And yes, for the 2018 World Cup, Iran was grouped with Spain, Portugal, and Morocco. That first game, a 1-0 win against Morocco. The own goal off a free kick deep in stoppage time. How can we forget that? I was there. My voice was gone for at least a week. I thought I was going to have permanent damage to my voice. That's what I thought that time. Luckily, everything worked out. And then after that, the close 1-0 loss to Spain. That still hurts because there was a time where Saeed Ezzatolahi, we thought he had scored, and just only for VAR to crush our hopes. Then the last game, a 1-1 draw with Portugal. That goal was scored by Karim Ansari Farah from the penalty spot. But let's also not forget the penalty save from goalkeeper Ali Reza Beiranvand. And yes, I remember seeing one of the previous comments here in the chat that it was, there was a heartbreaking moment. Mehdi Taremi came so close to scoring the game-winning goal in stoppage time. Not only would that have won the game for Iran, but it would have put them into the knockout phase for the first time ever in Iran's World Cup history. So there's the review of Iran's history at the World Cup. And let's hope this will be another fun tournament. Let's go over the qualification results. Iran finished top of Group A. Let's see, my question here. Okay, I'll go to this question. Do I think Beiranvand should start or Abidzadeh? I am 100% in the camp of Ali Reza Beiranvand to be the starting keeper for Team Melli. And a big reason why I say that, let me see. Thank you for your comment. Best wishes to you. I'm sending best wishes to you in India. Really appreciate the support. Thank you so much. And a big reason why I support, another reason why I support Ali Reza Beiranvand to be the starting keeper for Iran, it has a lot to do with that goal that Amir Abidzadeh allowed against South Korea. I mean, that ball was hit Abidzadeh like right in the hands, and it goes instead off his, forearm area, off his left thighs and into the net, and out into the net. Let's see, I just saw another good question. Let's see. Do I think Skocic should be sacked? And that's a tough question. I'm kind of holding off on talking about that, to be honest, but I'm not saying he should be sacked. I'm just saying that if he were to be sacked for a more experienced or perhaps a better manager, I wouldn't be outraged by that decision. That's pretty much what I could say there. And for everyone else sharing their comments, thank you so much. I'm really happy to be providing coverage for Team Melli in English. And I'm seeing a lot of these responses. Mohammed just said, I want to see USA and Iran play in the World Cup. I'm not really the biggest fan of that, but we'll see what happens. And he gets another good question for Cam. Let's be honest. If Skocic is sacked, who would be a better option? That is a very good question. I agree. That is a really good question because you don't want to just say, "Hey, we got to get another manager." It's got to be a good decision. It can't just be, "Okay, let's just get another manager just for the sake of getting another head coach." So I understand that. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. And let's see. We're just waiting for this to get started. There's always these pre-festivities. So yeah, it still hasn't started yet. Right now they have a special guest appearing. Like I said, when it comes to the World Cup draw, these things do take a while, unfortunately. I do believe that Carlos Queiroz was the best manager in Team LA history. I do. That is a very, very true statement. Now, of course, we want to talk about Iran's managers from World Cup. Of course, we can never forget about Jalal Talibi. He was the coach in Iran, beat United States. Let's see, where can you watch the draw? If you are in the United States, you can watch the draw on Fox Sports 1, FS1, whether it's on the channel Fox Sports 1 or the Fox Sports app. Me for Team LA manager, thank you, I appreciate that, but I don't really have a lot of I don't have all those coaching licenses, but of course I would that would be the dream. That would be the dream, that's for sure. I like that last one I saw. Skocic needs to balance his offensive type of play with a defensive Queiroz way. That does sound like a good idea. You got to find that balance. And I've been talking about that recently too, that I don't want to see Iran be the same team from the 2018 World Cup. I want to see a little bit of a difference. I mean, because basically because Iran was very defensive in the 2018 World Cup. I'm not complaining about it, but I'd like to see some changes. So let's see. I'm seeing some more. We're in Europe. Is there a live stream on YouTube? I'm not able to confirm that, but if you keep watching here, I will bring you the draw. That's for sure. I'm keeping track of everything here. I'm not here just to, talk about myself or Team Ellie talk. So this is the draw. Just waiting for everything to get on. Waiting for this show to get on the road. A lot of pregame festivities, of course. Let's see. I have another question. Well, let's see. Why are the videos so short? You enjoy them, really enjoy them. Thank you, Mohammed. I appreciate it. I'll have to work on that. It depends on having other guests. How I mix things up a bit, but I will. I am definitely making note of that. Let's see some other questions. Let's see. So do we watch any games from the Iran League? Tractor is about to get relegated. Okay, well. That's unfortunate. I've always heard a lot of good things about Tractor. I always refer to them as Tractor Sazi because I always like that name much more. When am I going to start making TikToks? Yes, another good question. I've been looking into that. I will be starting soon. We do have a TikTok pages. I do have a TikTok page as well, and that will be taking place. And so I do appreciate the suggestions. I appreciate the questions. I appreciate everyone being here. Thank you so much. This is great and this is very exciting. And I'm just in the same boat as all of you too. Need to get this draw started already. That's for sure. So let's see what's taking so long. I have my tablet here in front of me. Glad I have this tablet. Don't use it as much as I used to, but like I said, don't use it as much as I used to, but I'm glad I have it here because it's really, really making things much easier. So right now, there's a special guest speaking. The guys at the studio for the United States fans are at the studio. Their analysts are waiting for the same thing as well too. Let's see what Cam said. If we can avoid Ghana and Cameroon from pot forward, that would make it easier. Yeah, I guess you could say that. Cameroon did just recently qualify with a miraculous late goal and stoppage time of extra time to crush the hopes of Algeria. I was watching that game live, and man, that was tough to watch. Maybe you just feel so bad for the Algerian supporters. Ghana, they barely got past Nigeria. They tied 0-0 in Ghana and then 1-1 in Nigeria. Let's see. Mohammed says. Let's see. Ariane Khudadadeh said, which countries we hope for? That's a tough one for me, but I really would like to see. I would like to see Iran. I would like to see Iran get grouped with Brazil. I think it'd be very entertaining just to see Iran play Brazil or even France, just because these are teams that very, France. I can't see France playing Iran in a friendly match. And see, Daniel was expecting Algeria and Egypt to go through. Yep, I'm sure a lot of people were expecting that too. Let's see. Do I remember Iran versus Nigeria from the 2014 World Cup? Yes, I do. It was a pretty dull 0-0 draw. It was a disappointing start for me. I didn't like the start of that tournament. I know some Iranian fans thought it was okay because Nigeria at that time I believe were champions of Africa, but I remember saying it was not a good result. I said if Iran wanted to advance from that group, they needed to get a win over Nigeria. Yeah, and I understand there's a lot of people like the next. Let's see. To be honest, think we're capable of beating Switzerland. I think Iran's capable of beating Switzerland too, but they're tough. They're a tough nut to crack. Like one of my friends would say, they're tough. They're a tough defensive team. Yes, I know everyone wants to see Iran play Canada because Canada's first time at the World Cup since 1986, and when they were at the World Cup 1986, they lost to France, Hungary, and the Soviet Union and did not score a goal. So that was not a good appearance for them, but that was so long ago, so can't even make those comparisons. Let's see, and then how about some others? Also, Cam said Syed Manesh miss against Korea was a huge blow. Yeah, missed opportunities are always huge. Ehsan had Safi early in the match when Iran had it was going to be a gift goal. He had Golizade wide open, but instead he went for all the glory. And yeah, missed opportunities will come back to haunt you. That's for sure. Okay, so like I said, I know we're waiting for this to start. Yes, I got on right like a little bit before 9 a.m. A little bit before 9 a.m. But yes, the festivities, the introductions are continuing. So let me just take a look for a moment. Yeah, I think perhaps it would have been better if I just logged on at 30 minutes after the scheduled start time. Let's see. How about this? Let's see. To Daniel, I've heard that rumor as well, and from what I've already heard, it's confirmed Iran will not be banned from the 2022 World Cup. So do not worry about that. Let's see, why did Rose leave Egypt? Leave for Egypt again? I'm not 100% on that either. I mean, Egypt just missed out on qualifying, lost to Senegal on penalties, and in a lot of these matches, when Rose was coaching Egypt, that Egypt was not a very, very impressive team, to be honest. In the knockout phase of the Africa Cup of Nations, they only scored 2 goals out of 4 matches, and both those goals came in one match. Okay, now according to our friend Darren Yahya Khan, he said Carlos Queiroz quit Egypt. Yes, and the fact that that has taken place, there is a huge, huge level of support for to have Carlos Queiroz return to Team Melli. But come on, let's face it. I'm pretty sure Carlos Queiroz would not want to return to Team Melli. I know he loves us. I know he loves Iran, but I just would not see that happening. Yeah, like I said, like I was saying earlier, let's not worry about things involving the banning. Just let's move past that. Like I said, hope everyone is doing well. Hope wondering maybe if you're at home, maybe you got your Team Melli gear on. Like I said, me wearing this shirt makes me think right away of 2006 World Cup, of Portugal, Mexico, and Angola. So that group is very possible, except for Angola. Obviously, Angola could said it could be replayed, could be, you know, possibly Cameroon or Ghana. Okay, let's see. Okay, some people are saying that Dragan Skocic will not be able to take Iran to the round of 16. I'm sure there's a lot of people sharing that same mindset. Let's see. Another question from Mohammed: is Team Melli going to have friendly matches? A while ago, a few months ago, I did interview Mario Tot, assistant coach for the national team of Iran, and he told me, he said, quote unquote, he said if Iran, when Iran qualifies for the World Cup, they'll be playing some friendly matches against some very good national teams. So that's what Mario Tot told me. So let's wait and see how that turns out. Okay, then I hear, yes, I'm seeing a lot of the same responses. Scared for the draw, want Iran to have an easy group. And you know what, honestly, I'm not big on saying I want Iran to have an easy group. You want to see Iran cause an upset against a better team. That's to me is what's called taking the next level. If you're always hoping for everything to go perfectly to plan, no, I'm not too big of a fan of that. But to each their own, that's for sure. Let's see another good comment here from Camps. That Skocic also didn't have some of his strongest players against Korea available when Iran lost. We need to not panic. It's definitely not a good thing to be panicking. I agree. And having said all that, yes, you see, and I don't like to go out my way looking for excuses. That game against South Korea, yes, Iran was missing some good players. Didn't have Taremi or Ali Reza Jahanbash, and but like I said, I'm not the one looking for excuses. But the thing that was disappointing about that match is that Iran just looked like a team that didn't know what they were doing, and also I wasn't a big fan of Shoja Khaliazadeh starting at right back. And then when he had to come out, I don't know why on earth Arif Golami was subbed in when he's a center back. Why was he playing at right back? You had Daniel Ismaili Farah on the bench. That's when he should have thrown him in there. And yes, when talking about upsets, yes, like how South Korea did upset Germany. Absolutely. Very good. Let's see. I'm seeing here from Pedrom, Iran needs to play friendlies against Japan, Slovenia, and African nations even. Yes, test them as much as possible. I agree. I like the confidence here from Asgar, DDD. Skocic will definitely take Iran to the second round. I do like that. So let's take a look here. Right now, I am seeing that the president of FIFA, Gianni Infantino, is speaking at the moment. So yes, he's speaking, but of course, we all know what we want to see. We want to get right to picking the teams from the different pots, and that way we will find out much faster. Of course, we want to know who Iran is grouped with, but we want to know all the groups too. So let's see what Mr. Infantino has to say. Just one moment. Okay, he's welcoming everyone to Doha. And of course, as we're still waiting, just like to tell you all once again, thank you for being here. It is a pleasure to have you here supporting this Team Ellie Talk channel. Like I said, it's really exciting times. And we're just, the anticipation just keeps on building, that's for sure. Let's see, the World Cup will be obviously in November and December. Yes, but the thing is that, the weather, it's going to be too brutal to have it in the summer in Qatar. So that's for sure. And of course, glad to see my other guests as well too. Hope everything is going well. And yes, we continue to play the waiting game. And I think next time when they schedule this, they should say what time the actual draw starts and just consider everything else as pre-show festivities. Okay, so we are seeing breaking, says here someone sharing breaking news. I guess sounds as if Real Madrid's interested in Mohamed Salah. I wouldn't be surprised about that. But of course, remember, we gotta stick to topic. That's pretty much what I'm wanting to do here. All right, come on, get on with it, Infantino. Oh yes, remember, yes, it is April 1st, so yes, I should have been more aware of that. I'm sure there's going to be all kinds of possible fake news, presented as real. What a day, right? The World Cup draw on April Fool's Day. Does that mean everyone today is not going to be believing, the news about who got grouped with who? This wasn't very smart of FIFA, I must say. They need to fix that. Maybe they should have had it yesterday. But whatever. Who am I to make these suggestions, right? Let's see. The questions. I am not able to stream the draw like what you would see there, so I am just able to. Why I'm watching it, and I will be sharing the information with all of you. The moment it happens. I'm not just gonna be, sitting around here talking and then tell you 10 minutes later, oh yeah, by the way, and Group A is this, this, and this. Group D is this team, that team, and this team. Yeah, don't worry, I'm not going to be doing that. See, how many years have I been supporting Team Melli? Very good question. I have been supporting Team Melli since 1997. So I first started watching Iran play during 1998 World Cup qualification. And the very first game I watched, ironically, was Iran versus Qatar at the Azadi Stadium. I mean, I was watching the game on TV, of course. That was the first time I ever watched Iran. They played against Qatar at the Azadi Stadium. I was watching on TV, of course. Iran won that match 3-0. 2 goals were scored by Karim Balgheri, the other one by Ali Daei. So, just kind of ironic, yes. So let's see now. The Emir of the state of Qatar has just been introduced. So maybe this is going to be the time where they start getting things started. Let's see, Pedrom, 12 years, awesome. 12 years as a Team Melli fan. Let's see, where am I from? I am from California, born and raised. Let's see, how about everyone who has joined us? Why don't you go ahead, share the location where you are watching from, or where basically where you are right now. Always great to see you, everyone. Always nice to know where everyone is. Already had a fan say hello from India. Another one from also, actually no, earlier on Instagram Live, it was a fan from Hamburg, Germany. So we have Cam from London. Awesome. Next, what is FIFA doing? These guys look like they weren't prepared to host the draw. Well, that is a good observation. Definitely a good observation. See someone from San Francisco, Amsterdam, from Utah, born and raised in Tabriz, live in NC, looks like North Carolina. Let's see, I do not I was born in California, so I don't originate from a city. I'm in Iran. But my dad's family is from Tehran. Okay, looks like they're almost ready to get this started. Yes, if they can just get this going. I think I've done my best trying to keep this going as much as I can, that's for sure. Yes, I agree. They definitely are taking very, very long. They really are taking their sweet time. Not sure about any updates on the Team Melli World Cup jersey just yet. I think we're going to have to wait a little bit longer. And where are we going? Where else can this be watched? Yes, if you're in the United States, you can watch the draw on FS1, on Fox Sports 1, FS1, or you could also watch it on the Fox Sports app. Let's see. Right now, they still are showing highlights of past World Cups, like Maradona's famous goal in 1986. Let's see. Someone said I represent Iran very well, despite me not being Iranian. Well, actually, I am half Iranian because my father is from Iran, so I am half Iranian. That's for sure. Let's see, where can you buy a Team Melli jersey from? There's the thing is, though, that's always a tough question, Dan. That's a tough one, to be honest. That's a tough one to answer. I mean, when the official jersey comes out, you know, if it's like a company like, you know, like Old Sport or Nike or Puma, it'll probably be easier to buy from those like from those shops that sell these football shirts, or soccer shops, depending on where you are, of course. But there's always going to be those imitation or replica shirts that could be sold. You know, you could even find some even on eBay sometimes as well too. Let's see, I like that comment there. Probably more Iranian than some in Iran. Well, in terms of supporting the national team of Iran, yes, absolutely. Let's see, someone's family comes from Abadan. Awesome. Always appreciate the Southern Iranian football culture. Perhaps you might be a fan of Sanat Naft Abadan. See, does my family support Team Melli? Yes, absolutely. I've, of course, learned to become a big fan of the national team of Iran because of my father, that's for sure. And yes, I'm just sitting here wondering, will they get on with it? How do you know the shirt is a fake? Well, I mean, just take a look at them a little closely. You can pretty much guess it pretty quickly. Let's see, and I see someone here saying that certain person's better than Maradona. It said Luca. I'm guessing he's talking about Luca Toni, and that's a, kind of debatable. Sure. And let's see, we also have family comes from Tabriz, Ardabil, Tehran, and Isfahan. All right, some big major cities in Iran. Well, let's see. Right now they're talking about the FIFA World Cup trophy, so I guess that's going to take probably another 5 minutes. Let's hope not. Southern California, the Los Angeles area. And we have someone joining us also from Sweden as well. Awesome. Sweden, Sverige. Good stuff. Like I said, I've not watched the live draw in a very long time. And now I kind of understand how some people just eventually find out later how it went, because this is taking a while. If anything, I wish I would have ordered a pizza or something. Let's see, why doesn't Godu start more instead of Nurulahi? That's a good question. Well, the thing is, though, Nurulahi is a defensive midfielder. Saman Godus is more like a central attacking midfielder. So that's probably a bigger reason why. Okay, so now they're bringing out the trophy. We're hoping that this is going to lead to the draw beginning. Yes, I definitely agree with Mr. Tarkeshian. Rather order some tadi. Yes, even better. You're right. See what I can arrange. So the person right now they're introducing is Didier Deschamps, the man who was head coach of France at the 2018 World Cup. Yes, now we're getting into the talk of all kinds of good food, like gourmet sabzi. Yes, thank you. Appreciate the support. Thank you, Abraham. Yeah, so now all this, like I said, now I've opened up that can of worms. All this talk means that now we're just going to be thinking about Persian food. And obviously, it is the best. No disagreeing there. So it's been about 32 minutes since the supposed start time of this World Cup draw. Yeah, I think someone said it earlier. Probably, maybe, I guess technically it's starting 1 hour after the announced starting time. But either way, do appreciate everyone for stopping by and being here. We should just make up our own draw now. Yes, that is a good idea. Let's see. Next question. What countries do I think Iran will be placed with? Like I said, that's a tough one for me because, when I take a look at the pots, I would not mind seeing, like I said, I'd be excited to see Iran get the opportunity to play against England and even France. And that's for sure. I really would. But let's see how it's going to turn out. I mean, I notice some people want to see Iran play with Belgium. I don't know if that would really be the best matchup. It's hard to say. Let's see what they're saying. We are now what? Let's see what they're saying. Are they finally going to get started? Okay, let's see. Another good comment here from Cam. Kylian Mbappe versus Hossein Kenani would scare me, though. Yeah, you know what? I have to agree with that. I definitely do need to agree with that for sure. That would be scary. No doubt. I mean, we did see Iran's central defenders have problems a few times during qualification. And against a player like Kylian Mbappe, that would be really tough. I would pretty much I wouldn't want to see that opportunity. Actually, I would say I don't even think we'd see that. I think Iran would park the bus so much against France that we would not see Mbappe get, in a 1v1 situation with Hossein Kanani. But let's not forget, Hossein Kanani did have 2 assists the other day against Lebanon. But yes, I know, it was against Lebanon. Let's see, Pedro just said, I want to see Iran play against Senegal or Canada or Mexico. Yeah, I'm not surprised to see that as well. Let's see. My good friend Darren said Mbappe would Will Smith our defense. Yeah, that's a very good. I like that. Very good. Just very good analogy and whatever it is I'm supposed to say. Let's see. Do I think Iran is a better team than Turkey? That's a good question. I'm gonna say no, just because Turkey plays in UEFA and they did put up a pretty good fight against Portugal. So I'm gonna say no, but I know that Iran is definitely good enough to beat Turkey. That's for sure. If they were to cross paths at the World Cup. Okay, now we have Darren saying he wants Iran to be grouped with the United States, Spain, and Cameroon. Oh yeah, that definitely is a possibility. That's for sure. Yes, I'm glad everyone's enjoying the analogy, the Will Smith analogy. That definitely has been the hot news lately. And yes, Turkey obviously did not have a good performance at the Euros. It was really bad. Yes, horrible is the correct word to use. They did lose all three of their matches, I believe, to Italy, Switzerland, and Wales. I want to say, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, now I think we're seeing some good news here. It seems like we have all the different pots appear to be lined up on the stage. So hopefully we'll finally see it getting started here, and hopefully not some type of show, involving some special guests or some pop stars from Qatar. And yes, Eric, I know you would love to see that. I understand that. Well, I'm hoping not to see that for obvious reasons. But for some reason, the fact that Eric just said that, starting to believe that that might happen once again. Yes, you're right. It is exciting. Can you all get on with it, please? Oh, sorry about that. Just calm down a bit. Okay, almost looks like we're just about ready for it. Yes, hoping for a good draw. Let's see how this one turns out. And yes, Eric wants to see Iran and Mexico in the same group again. Yes, of course. In that game in 2006, I was there, obviously. And let's not speak of that. So we have the draw conductor is speaking right now. So I'm pretty sure right now it's just the talk of how the draw is going to work, the basic stuff. And that also means that the only two teams that could be in the only two national teams, the only two teams that could be the only two teams from the same confederation that could be in the same group are teams from UEFA, Europe, obviously, because there's a lot of European teams. So that means you cannot have two teams from Asia in the same group, can't have two teams from CONCACAF, or even two teams from Africa in the same group, and also we can't even have two South American teams in the same group. Let's see, another good question. Do I think they still pay Lalas to talk, or he just won't leave the studio? That is probably one of the best questions ever, to be honest. Do they still pay Alexei Lalas to talk? I don't know. I'm gonna have to go with the latter. I think he just won't leave the studio. I think he pretty much lives there. But yes, thank you, Mr. Petrielli. Okay, so first, like I said, we're almost there. Right now, they're introducing some World Cup legends to come and be the ones who also will select the teams from the different pots. So I believe the first one that is just showing up right now is Cafu. Of course, made a name for himself playing for Brazil. Not sure who the next one's going to be, but we can start playing this guessing game, to pass the time. I think Cafu definitely one of the greatest of all time right backs. Sure. Let's see who the next one is. Let's see, I didn't get to hear it to be honest, but I believe it's a player. Perhaps I believe it's a player from Nigeria. Okay, so that means the next person coming out will be Lothar Matthäus, because they just said the captain of Germany's 1990 World Cup winning team. Yes, so Lothar Matthäus, definitely a legend. And I believe also, yes, of course, an obvious name should be coming up soon. Of course, I'm obviously not talking about Chris Rock.
Also joining us this evening, the first male footballer to score 100 international.
Okay, yes, the next person, the first male footballer to score 100 international goals. Yes, it is Ali Daei, who's who's one of the special guests for this draw as well too. Awesome moment for us Team Elite supporters. And recently his record was broken by Cristiano Ronaldo. Let's see, next, a former Qatar international. Okay, I have not heard of him, but the name does no, it doesn't ring a bell. No, it doesn't. But they said he was the first member of a Qatar football organization or sport. I think from the youth team, I believe they won a tournament. You know, we'll just move past that. Next, an Australian footballer, Tim Cahill. Of course. Obviously a very popular name as well too. I was thinking if they're going to name an Australian player, I was thinking, okay, well, I was thinking it probably shouldn't be an Australian player that played against Iran in that famous qualifier in 1997, because I'm sure Iran and Australia have not crossed paths ever since that match. And next one, Bora Milutinovic, one-time head coach of the United States, Mexico, and even China. Very well very well-known name, of course. Let's see now another. Like I said, they still have more people that are coming out. Let's see who it'll be. Rabah Majer from Algeria, played for Algeria in the 1982 World Cup. He's part of that team that defeated West Germany 2-1 in the group stage. Okay, so I believe, looks like those are all the guests. So let's see how this is going to turn out. Now there's just a few more questions. Okay, when will this get started? The guests are here. There's a few questions for Adel Ahmed Malala, who played for Qatar in late 70s, early 80s. Let's see. And Mr. Petrelli is sharing something. Fun fact: he went to Tim Cahill's last international match in Sydney a few years back. That's pretty awesome. Must have been fun. And who did they play that day, sir? Okay, like I said, we're just about ready to get started. Of course, we can only hope they're ready to get started. And thank you for the support. Really do appreciate it. Let's see. So Mr. Petrelli does not remember too many beers that evening. Makes sense. Let's see, can Iran get their Adidas licensing back just in time before the World Cup? Well, not expecting that, but we'll see. Okay, they just said the moment we've been waiting for, time to get ready for the draw. Okay, let's hope they're serious about it. Okay, so right now they're talking about the draw divided into 4 pots. So yes, I'll go ahead and repeat the teams once again like I did earlier. If needed, if that's what everyone would prefer. So we have 7 top-ranked teams are in pot 1 to go with Qatar. Qatar is obviously in Group A because they're the hosts. The lowest-ranked teams are in pot number 4. That also includes the three mystery teams, the playoff winners that we do not know about yet. So here they're going over the pots. Pot 1, Qatar, Brazil, Belgium, France, Argentina, England, Spain, and Portugal. So that was pot number 1. Pot 2, Mexico, Netherlands, Denmark, Germany, Uruguay, Switzerland, United States, and Croatia. Pot 3, Senegal, Iran, Japan, Morocco, Serbia, Poland, South Korea, and Tunisia. And here's pot 4, Cameroon, Canada, Ecuador, Saudi Arabia, Ghana, whoever wins and of course the playoff winner, the teams from the playoffs, of course. The 2 intercontinental playoff winners and the winner of the European playoff. So they said teams will be drawn one at a time. So yes, we're waiting for that. Will we get this started? Now they're showing no 2 teams from the same qualification zone can be drawn together. Of course, I already said that earlier. And of course, you all know me as Art Eftekari, so thank you all for being here. So they're just saying that if there is a situation where 2 teams that cannot be grouped together are selected, they'll have to go back to that group and make the changes. So here we go. The anticipation has continued. It's actually been a long time. Like I said, next time I do this, definitely not going to be starting right at the very beginning. I'll learn my lesson for next time. So let's see. There's probably going to be all kinds of anticipation for the very first one, but yeah, it's probably it's going to be Qatar for Group A. So right now they're just repeating the teams from pot 1. I think that's already been repeated on more than a few occasions. So let's see, Cafu is drawing the first ball from pot 1. So let's see, the team he is selecting. Who is that team? So Cafu has got the team. Okay, oh yes, so he selected Qatar. Yes, we know Qatar is in Group A. See, do I think Italy should qualify automatically since they won the European Championship? No, definitely not. The qualification to the World Cup is separate from the European Championship. Let's see, now here we go. The next team being selected. Okay, wait, never mind. See, they selected Qatar, and they just selected the position. So, that meaning A1, position 1 in Group A. Okay, this is just, so much fun. Now they're going to say what city that game is going to be held in. Okay, let's see next. Okay, England has just been selected from pot number 1. So I believe next it's going to be which group they're placed in. Let's see, is football going to finally come home? That's the question. Okay, so that means let me take a look at this. Someone's selecting something from pot B. Okay, so England, of course, is in B. England, of course, is in Group B. So we have that much. So England, of course, is in Group B. The next team that has been selected is Argentina. And they just announced as Argentina won the World Cup in 1978 and 1986. Yeah, I should probably be doing the same thing. Sorry about that. And as we know earlier, before that, England's won one World Cup in 1966, and they've come close on other occasions for other tournaments, but just hasn't worked out. Now we see Ali Daei selecting the positioning for Group C, but yes, this is going to happen all the time. So yes, Argentina is in Group C. All right, let's see what the next team will be. Yes, I definitely agree with what Pedram said there. Said that Italy lost to North Macedonia on home soil. They don't deserve it. Next, France has just been selected. So it looks like France will be in Group D. So France will be in Group D. So that's what we have so far. Qatar in Group A, England Group B, Argentina Group C, France in Group D. Which team will we have next for Group E? So let's see what Cafu has to say. It is Spain, España. Won the 2010 World Cup, also won Euro 2008 and Euro 2012. And of course, we're just going through the formalities of the positioning. So Spain is in Group E. All right, we got 3 more teams from pot number 1. The next team will be Belgium. Let's see, and also about the games. Well, let's see, I've not played these video games in a long time involving FIFA or World Cup. But yeah, I definitely agree with you as well. So of course, like I said, Belgium is in Group F. So 2 more teams left from pot 1. Brazil and Portugal are the 2 teams left. Let's see, who is this next team? It is Brazil. So Brazil will be in Group G. And that means Portugal then will be Group H. Let's see, Mr. Michael Petrielli saying Belgium, such a letdown year after year. Well, they did get to the semifinals of the 2018 World Cup, so they definitely did their job on that one. Okay, so like I said, Brazil in Group G. That means Portugal getting to be in Group H. But we still got to go through the whole thing of, Cafu, grabbing the ball, revealing that it's Portugal, and having them be in, position 1 of Group H. Let's see, tied with Ireland. Actually, they tied Northern Ireland, not the Republic of Ireland, but one of the Irelands, sure. Okay, so let's see. Now they're just going to go with Portugal as position 1 in Group H. Now we'll be getting to pot number 2. So here are the teams in pot 2: Mexico, Netherlands, Denmark, Germany, Uruguay, Switzerland, United States, and Croatia. Now what's interesting here is who will get Germany in their group. Now I'm pretty sure Qatar is hoping very badly that it will not be Germany from pot 2. Okay, so here's the first team from pot 2. It is the Netherlands. Let's see, why is the World Cup draw going on now? Well, everything had to be pushed back because of the COVID delays and things like that. So Netherlands are going into Group A. So Qatar, the hosts, do get to play against Netherlands. Will that be the opening game of the tournament? That would be a good question. That would be a very good one. So Netherlands is in position A4. So let's see what the next team will be from pot 2. And that team is the United States. So it looks like United States will be in Group B with England. And they already were in the same group together at the 2010 World Cup in South Africa. Like we said, so United States is in Group B. Now we'll just find out which position they are in this group. So they're in position 3 in Group B. So I know, of course, can't be surprised. We do have some supporters here that some will probably, I believe I know one for sure, supports Iran and United States. So yes, USA is grouped with England. That definitely will make for a very good match. See the next team to go into Group C, Mexico. So Mexico will be in the same group with Argentina. So of course, I know I don't mention it at all on my show, but yes, for obvious reasons, yes, I am half Mexican. All right, so Mexico gets another shot at Argentina. How have those gone at past World Cups? Not good at all. Mexico lost to Argentina at the 2006 World Cup in the second round in extra time, and lost 3-0 to Argentina at the 2010 World Cup in the second round in South Africa. So yeah, that's a game Mexican fans probably are not looking forward to that much, but never know what might happen this time around. So Mexico, I believe, is in position 3. All right, so this is turning out to be interesting. Which team will be joining France in Group D? Germany still has not been selected. Someone just said Group A for Iran would be great. That's not possible. Iran cannot be in the same group with Qatar because Qatar is in the Asian Football Confederation. Denmark is in the same group with France. So interesting. So Denmark in Group D. This continues to get better and better. For everyone here still watching, appreciate you being here. Germany has not been selected yet. Will we see Germany with Spain? This is getting good. So that means for sure Germany is going to be there with Spain, Belgium, Brazil, or Portugal. This is getting awesome. So Denmark is in position 3 in Group D with France. Definitely agree with you there, Mr. Petrielli. The next team to be selected to be grouped with Spain, it is Germany. So Germany in the same group with Spain. So we finally got that one done. I think Belgium, Brazil, and Portugal have got to be breathing that sigh of relief right now. And it seems like it's been the routine so far. Last 3 teams have been put in position 3 in the group. So where will Germany be in this group with Spain in Group E? They'll be in position 3 as well. So far, yes, Darren saying that Group E is already the group of death. Well, with Spain and Germany, I've got to say that definitely does make sense. Okay, the next team to be drawn from Pot 2 will be going into Group F. Croatia. So Croatia will be in the same group with Belgium. Let's see, it says, no, like I said before, Iran cannot be in Group A. Qatar is part of the Asian Football Confederation. There cannot be 2 teams from Asia in the same group. So that's not possible. Iran cannot be in Group A. So let's see, that means in position 4, that's Croatia in position 4. So 2 more teams left in Pot 2, Uruguay and Switzerland. It's going to be Switzerland because Uruguay cannot be in the same group with Brazil. Let's see, they just selected Uruguay, but like we said, it cannot be Uruguay in Group G, though, with Brazil. Yes, Uruguay won the World Cup in 1930 and 1950. Okay, so like I said, Uruguay will be in the same group with Portugal. So Uruguay is in position 3 in Group H. And of course, just the formalities, we know that the other team, Switzerland's going to be in Group G with Brazil. So that's going to be the first 2 pots being done. And now we just need to know which position Switzerland's going to be in. This is the part that, of course, we always want to speed up a little bit faster, because we are about to get into pot number 3. Remember, Iran is in pot 3. So we know for sure Iran will not be in Group A, but of course we already knew that to begin with, so I don't know why I have to really mention that. Okay, so Switzerland is in G3. Okay, so pots 1 and 2 are done. Now it's time for pot 3. Those teams: Senegal, Iran, Japan, Morocco, Serbia, Poland, South Korea, and Tunisia. So let's see who this team will be from pot 3. Who will it be? He's having a little bit of trouble opening it. He finally got it. And it is Iran. So that means Iran will be grouped with England and United States, if I'm not mistaken. So yes, Iran is in Group B with England and the United States. So now we're just going to see which position. B2. They just showed Dragan Skocic. I don't know what it was. I was thinking it. Was it possible that Iran be grouped the United States again? And yes, it happened. The next team being selected is Senegal. So that means Senegal will be in Group A with Qatar and the Netherlands. That's should be an easy question to answer. Obviously, Iran. So Senegal is in position 3 of Group A. So the next team, Poland. So Poland will be in the same group, it looks as if, with Argentina and Mexico. Wow. And yes, they just said that Poland did finish third place in the World Cup in 1974 and 1982. So now the question here is, what position will Poland be in Group C? So in position 4. So in looking at this group, will there be a team from this pot that'll really make that group of death much more interesting in Group E with Spain and Germany? The next team to join France and Denmark. Actually, it's Serbia that has been selected, but they cannot be in the same group with France and Denmark, or Spain and Germany, or Belgium, Croatia. So that means they'll have to go into Group G, probably with Brazil and Switzerland. So yeah, Serbia is growing now in Group G. If I'm not mistaken, it seems like a pretty similar group to 2018 World Cup. Let's see, that's another easy question, Mr. Petrelli. Of course I'm going for Mexico over Poland. So Serbia is in position 2 in Group G. Let's see, the next team being selected is Tunisia. So it looks like Tunisia should be going into Group D with France and Denmark. Let's see, which position will Tunisia be in Group D? Let's see, so England also made it to the World Cup semifinals in 2018 too, didn't they? Yes, they did. So Tunisia is in position 4 of Group D. So what is the next team to join Spain and Germany? Japan. So Japan will be in the same group with Spain and Germany. Pretty sure Japan can't be too thrilled about that, but you never know what could happen. Yes, definitely we'll be making another couple, there'll be some more content coming on Team LA Talk, that is for sure, obviously, about this draw. Okay, so Japan's in position 4 in Group E. Okay, the next team being chosen, Morocco. So Morocco will be in the same group with Belgium and Croatia. That's going to be a very tough group as well, too. And next, we're just going to see what position Morocco will be in Group F. F3. Okay, so it looks like there is, just one more team in pot 3. So that means South Korea will be going in the same group with Portugal and Uruguay. So South Korea with Portugal and Uruguay. So for the other, so far when talking about all the 3 Asian teams, Japan's got it tough, really tough with Spain and Germany, and South Korea has it tough. Also has it tough with Portugal and Uruguay. And now we're just getting into the position, and soon, of course, we'll be finding out that final team in Iran's group, in Group B. Okay, so now it's time for pot 4. Appreciate everyone being here. This has been a long YouTube live broadcast of Team LA Talk covering the 2022 World Cup draw. Appreciate everyone for being here. So the teams in pot 4: Cameroon, Canada, Ecuador, Saudi Arabia, Ghana, the two winners of the Intercontinental Playoffs, and the winner of the European Playoff. So let's see. What will be the first? So this first team, of course, unless it's an Asian team, this team should be going into Group A. The winner of the Intercontinental Playoff number 1. So UAE or Australia, wait. Oh no, so that cannot happen then. Because if it is UAE or Australia, they cannot be in Group A. So that means UAE or Australia also cannot go into Group B because Iran is there. So that means this team will have to go into Group C. Instead, actually, I don't know why they... Okay, I guess it was Group D then. Yeah, this definitely is different compared to other draws where we have teams like mystery teams being drawn into these groups. So next we have Ecuador. So yes, Ecuador looks like it's going to be going in Group A with Qatar, Senegal, and the Netherlands. I've not booked my ticket to Qatar yet. Well, hopefully soon. Okay, so Ecuador, of course, obviously in position 2 of Group A. So let's see, the host Qatar actually cannot be bothered at all with this group. Qatar gets to go up against Ecuador and Senegal and the Netherlands. Looks like to be a pretty decent group for the hosts. I'm not getting into things being rearranged or pre-chosen, but that's a very good group for the hosts. Okay, now what will be the next team in Group B? Okay, Saudi Arabia has just been selected, but we know Saudi Arabia cannot be in Group B because Iran is already there. So it looks like Saudi Arabia, I want to say, should be going into Group C with Argentina, Mexico, and Poland. So yes, so Saudi Arabia will be in Group C with Argentina, Mexico, and Poland. So it looks like all 3 of those teams should be able to get She should be able to get a victory against Saudi Arabia with no problem. Although I'm not going to say that 100% about Mexico. But Argentina has got to be thrilled with this group, that's for sure. And the next team being selected, the winner of the Intercontinental Playoff 2. So that must be Costa Rica versus New Zealand. And that's interesting because if it was New Zealand, they could be able to go into Group B. So it looks like the winner of the Intercontinental Playoff 2 between Costa Rica and New Zealand will go into Group E with Spain, Germany, and Japan. So that's a tough group, of course. And we still don't actually know which team will be in Group B. I'm guessing since it involves USA, probably going to be Ghana. Great minds think alike there. And it is the European playoff winner. So that means Wales, Scotland, or Ukraine. So it's the European playoff winner is going into Group B, yes. So that is Group B for. So that is now we know Iran's group. Actually, not 100% because we gotta still see how the other group how those playoffs go. So we have to wait. So we know for sure England, Iran, United States, and like we said, the three possible teams: Wales, Scotland, or Ukraine. The next team that's been selected is Cameroon. So Cameroon will be in Group F. Oh wait, I was wrong. So yeah, actually no, I didn't say Group F. So Cameroon cannot be in Group F because Morocco is already there. So that means Cameroon is going to Group G with Brazil, Serbia, and Switzerland. And yes, they were just going over the positioning of the group, but we already knew that because there was already 3 teams in the group to begin with. So Canada and Ghana are the only 2 teams left from Pot 4. Well, Ukraine definitely can make it if they beat Scotland and Wales. So Ghana will be going into Group H with Portugal, Uruguay, and South Korea. I think a lot of people are expecting Wales to win that playoff, that's for sure. And Gareth Bale obviously can carry Wales to defeat Scotland or Ukraine. Okay, so Ghana, like I said, is with Portugal, Uruguay, and South Korea. So that means just to spare the anticipation, yes, so again means Canada will be in Group F with Belgium, Morocco, and Croatia. Like I said before, it's Canada's first time in the World Cup since 1986. That first time did not go well for them at all, and this time it's going to be very tough for them too, but you never know. So we have all the groups. That's it for the World Cup draw. Let's go over them once again. Group A, Qatar, Ecuador, Senegal, Netherlands. I'll come back to Group B at the end. Group C, Argentina, Saudi Arabia, Mexico, and Poland. Group D, France, the winner of the Intercontinental Playoff. likely I believe between United Arab Emirates, between Australia and whoever I believe they're going to be playing a team from CONMEBOL, probably Peru. Then there's Denmark and Tunisia. Then Group F, Spain, another playoff winner, Germany, Japan. Then that was Group B, of course. Group F, Belgium, Canada, Morocco, Croatia. Group G, Brazil, Serbia, Switzerland, Cameroon. Group H, Portugal, Ghana, Uruguay, South Korea. And of course, got to come back to Group B, England, Iran, United States, and the European playoff winner. So meaning it's going to be Ukraine, Scotland, or Wales. So that's it for this live World Cup. That's it for this edition, live YouTube edition of Team LA Talk. This was the 2022 World Cup draw. Thank you all for joining us, and there will be some more content coming out soon. Another Team LA Talk video will be out soon. Obviously, you got plenty to talk about in previewing Group B of the 2022 World Cup. Okay, the post show. Okay, we'll do a quick post show then. This can be done. I feel like it's too difficult to make a prediction right now, especially when there's the group is not fully complete. It's definitely an interesting group because think about this: how interesting would it be if you get Scotland in this? What if Scotland does win the draw? What if Scotland wins the playoff? They beat Ukraine, they beat Wales. You could potentially have a group of England, Scotland, Iran, USA. I mean, just England, Scotland in the same group would be pretty epic. Would we agree there? Now let's see. Yes, the obvious questions. Does Iran? Yes, of course. I think Iran has a chance to beat the United States, but it's not going to be easy. United States, the national team of the United States, has gotten better and better in recent years. They'll be very tough. That's for sure. No joke about that. It will be an extremely tough game. This is a tough group. I mean, when I look at how the other Asian teams did, I mean, yes, I want to look at Japan. They're in the same group with Spain and Germany. That's a very tough group for Japan. No disrespect towards Japan, but trying to get past Spain and Germany, that's not easy at all. South Korea has Portugal and Uruguay. Ghana is obviously tough too. So it's hard for me to say who really has like such the easier group or things like that. But let's see. From what Michael just said, he says he thinks that everyone has a chance in Group B. And yeah, I do think so. Yeah, there is. It's all teams have a good shot at getting to the second round in Group B. I mean, of course, England is favored. I mean, of course, from the standpoint of the English football fans, they are looking at this group like as an easy ticket to the second round, and I can't be surprised that that's what they're thinking. That's for sure. But like we said, if it's not Scotland, it's like I would say if the winner is likely going to be Wales to come to Group B. That's pretty much what I could say there. But yeah, this is, like I said, this is an interesting draw because this is the first time ever we see a draw where we don't know who all the teams are in the group. And yeah, to be honest, I'm kind of just taking it all in. Someone's asking what's my opinion on these groups. It's hard to say really what the opinion is. I think some people are going to say that, yes, I know it's going to be repeated over and over. There's going to be the saying, there's going to be the thing saying, the common thing to say is that Qatar got an easy group. Well, Qatar is the host, so let's just move past that. I can't see, to be honest, I mean, Ecuador is still a decent South American team. I mean, Netherlands is going to win that group. I would say that for sure. But obviously, Qatar has a chance to advance the second round because Ecuador and Senegal are not like not like that much better. For Group C, Argentina is going to win that group, of course. I'll say that easily. And I'm not going to say that Mexico will for sure be second. I know Mexico, Mexico's problem is they always just get to the second round and cannot get to the quarterfinals. But I would say, let's see, do I think Poland or Mexico take the second spot? That's really tough. My heart, I'm going to say I think it's Mexico who takes that second spot, but I wouldn't be surprised if Poland puts them in their place. But I think Mexico's going to get the second spot in Group C just because it's Mexico. And, they always get to the second round. And yes, nothing but respect. I love Poland as well too, but I mean, I think Poland has not been, super dangerous recently. I think Poland could beat Mexico, that's for sure. But I'm going to say Mexico takes that second spot in Group C. And, let's not forget that this is the last World Cup, the last 32 team World Cup. 2026 is going to be that ridiculous number of 48. Okay, now for Group D, France, Denmark, Tunisia, and the winner of Intercontinental Playoff 1. Well, this is a pretty easy group for France, that's for sure. Denmark is tough, I agree, but I don't know how too much they won't have much problems with Tunisia and whoever the playoff winner is, that's for sure. And for Group B, Spain and Germany, yes, it should be Spain and Germany advancing from Group B with no problems. Group F, Belgium, Canada, Morocco, Croatia. The obvious is that it's going to be Belgium and Croatia. I would like to say don't count out Morocco so quickly, but Morocco always has a history of things not working out in the group stage for them. I mean, I'd like to see them advance as a second team, but for now I'm saying it's Belgium, Croatia. Group G, Brazil, Switzerland, Serbia, Cameroon. I think it sounds, the easy way, the easy prediction is Brazil and Switzerland. But you never know. Serbia did win their qualifying group when they were in the same group with Portugal, so you never know. But like I said, I'm going to go Brazil and Switzerland on that one. Group H, Portugal, Ghana, Uruguay, South Korea. That's again, I'm taking the easy prediction again. Portugal and Uruguay. Really difficult for me to say that Ghana or South Korea will get that second spot, but you never know. Let's see who will play before. Let's see. I mean, which teams are going to play in the European playoff? Is that the question? Wales is going to play the winner of Scotland and Ukraine in June. Whoever wins that final playoff, then that'll be the team that joins England, Iran, United States in Group B. Yes, I'll say it again. Scotland's going to play Ukraine. Whoever wins will play against Wales. The winner of that match will go to Group B with England, Iran, and the United States. And yes, Darren, I agree. We are thinking I'm saying it's likely going to be Wales. That to me makes more sense. But I wouldn't count out Scotland because Scotland could just beat Ukraine on penalties. They could also beat Wales on penalties. So you never know with these one game playoffs. The fact that it's not aggregate scoring anymore. The fact that it's not the aggregate scoring away goals rule anymore. You never know. Scotland could find a way to sneak in. But yeah, I'm putting my money on Wales. And those playoff matches will be in June. Scotland, Ukraine had to be postponed because of the because of the invasion, because of what's taking place in Ukraine, unfortunately. Let's see. We have someone saying that they think it'll be Scotland. Like I said, you never know. It might be. It really might be Scotland as well. You just never know. But of course, looking at this group, yes, Iran does have a history of this. They did beat the United States 2-1 at the 1998 World Cup. Obviously, many, many years ago. Iran has not had much of a history playing against England. And yes, someone just shared it, Ali Reza Yagoubi, saying most political group of all time. I'll just let you have that comment. I'm not going to further elaborate on that. But as for the playoff winners, Iran has not had much history playing against Ukraine or Wales. I think Iran has played Ukraine before in a friendly, but not much history against Wales. But they did play Scotland at the 1978 World Cup, and that finished in a 1-1 draw. And let's see, we're just about to hit the 1.5 hour mark of this live edition of Team LA Talk. Have I secured any tickets yet? Unfortunately, I have not. I believe the next phase is starting today or tomorrow. So, everyone, whoever is still looking for World Cup tickets, the next phase should be. So yes, we have been on for 90 minutes. I appreciate all of you who've been here the whole time. It's definitely been a lot of time. But of course, with that, let me just say, So with that, I would just like to go ahead and say thank you all for joining us on this special live edition of Team LA Talk. Hope you enjoyed the 2022 World Cup draw. If you were unable to see it, hopefully I was able to provide you all the information you needed. And thanks everyone for joining. Pleasure to have you here. Let's see what happens. There's a lot of time, not that much time, but decent amount of time before the World Cup. But yes, let's not forget, we know for sure Iran will be playing against England and the United States. So, see you all soon, and be on the lookout for the next edition of Team Melli Talk. And of course, let's go Iran. A lot of time until the World Cup.